or a van or something with that equipment that can communicate with that specific type of meter is within a certain proximity. So these meters do not collect 15-minute interval data. They will be read once a month, kind of what was traditionally done, but it will be done through this, this network, the secure network of collecting the reads. And the customers that chose this option would be required to pay the full incremental cost, and there would be no subsidy for low income or anything for those that did choose this. The process that we're in right now, as I mentioned, this was ordered on the 29th of February. NV Energy, we're working on the provisions for putting those costs together and submitting them to the Public Utilities Commission for review. We have 60 days, which is up until May the 1st, to have all of those factors put together and sent to the Commission for review. Once the Commission has reviewed it and whatever their findings are, what the costs are going to be, we, back to the company, will have 90 days to implement this solution for all the customers that are either on a postponement list or customers that have received the meter that have asked for the meter to be removed that's on a removal list. So there'll be some further communication with those customers, giving them the choice of if they want the standard metering arrangement, which is our smart meter, or the option, which is what's being introduced now. The reason why I mentioned that it's a trial opt-out program is after a 12-month test year, the Public Utilities Commission will determine if there are sufficient customers to economically support the program. If yes, we'll file a permanent tariff to calculate the actual monthly cost to serve the number of customers. And the reason why this is out there is we do keep a close eye on what's going on throughout the nation. And the other nations that have had opt-out provisions, there's been a large number of customers that have expressed the initial interest, but a rather low number that have actually chose and committed to the options that have been provided. So I think that's where, not to speculate, but that's where the 12-month trial for you to go back and look. That estimate that we're basing all the costs are, the incremental cost and the ongoing cost, is based on a number of about 7,500 customers. That's 4,500 in the southern part of the state and about 3,000 in northern Nevada that are kind of estimated to be the ones that would overall accept this option that was out there. So with that, we do have two dedicated phone numbers. One for Southern Nevada that's listed here, and one for Northern Nevada. If customers have any questions about the installation, any questions about the program themselves, we do have these numbers that are also available on our website. I also invite anybody that is interested to look at our website. We have a great deal more information on case studies, more information about the health aspect of it, and some more of the details that were mentioned about that exponent report that was mentioned earlier on. So with that, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Just a moment.
My name is Mary Roberts. Over here.
Oh, hi.
Excuse me just a minute.
District 1.
Mary, excuse me just a minute, please. Okay, I'm just debating whether to have all the speakers and then questions or questions as we go. So, but anyway, that may be better questions as we go. Okay, so Mary Roberts now, please.
Mr. President, Mary, and also Mr. President, would we remember the focus of our questions better if we address them after each speaker?
That's what I just said we're going to do. Yes.
I was asking your opinions.
Yes, I think you're right, and that's what we're going to do. So, Mary, go ahead, please.
Okay. First of all, my husband retired from Commonwealth Edison.
Can't hear you.
He was an engineer for Commonwealth Edison. He did 12,000 volts and a half. When we got this meter, he said it was a good thing, and he's never got nothing from going up on those high voltage all for 35 years. So I think it's a good thing.
So thank you.
You have a question?
Mr. President, I yield to Barbara.
Barbara, and then Evelyn, please, and then the public.
Good morning. Thank you for your presentation. My name is Barbara Altman. I'm in District 9. I'm just curious, is somewhere down the road, is it going to be a problem for us seniors who have to put the heat on in the winter because they're colder, or they need more air conditioning in the summer because they're warmer and they can't breathe as well as younger people can? Are their energy bills going to be increased because they've used more of the heat in the winter and the air conditioning in the summer? Are we going to be judged on how much energy we're using by these meters? I'm really concerned about that because my first priority are our seniors and their care and their health. So it makes me a little uneasy. So can you please explain that to us?
Sure, sure. Well, if you were to do nothing more than what you're doing today, it's just a simple upgrade of our meter. So as far as the flat rate that most customers are on, that doesn't change as a result of this. A common question that does surface is about mandatory time of use rates. And that question did come up in the Public Utilities Workshop on December the 6th, and it was asked during that forum there. And we did go on record to say that is not the intent of this program. The intent is to design more energy conservation programs, most of, all of which today are voluntary, and more appealing like that have a lot of other utilities specifically have done throughout the country. So the flat rate, there is no chance of plans to change that. Did that answer your question? Okay.
Well, what if you don't have a flat rate? And what if you have a variable? Like, for example, I do. My bill goes up in the summer because of the air. I'm not much of a heat person, but there are people who require more heat in the winter.
What I was referring to, variable rate, today we have voluntary called time of use rates or TOU rates. This is where customers choose to pay a lower rate during non-peak times, but they pay a higher rate. I believe it's between 1 and 7 through the months of June through September. Voluntary is what it is. There's several thousand customers here in Southern Nevada that do participate in that. So that the intent of my question is not to, we've been asked if we were going down a path of making everybody go into that type of program. The answer was no.
And Evelyn Canestra next, please.
Yes, Evelyn Canestra. And I've been on the forum, I think now, what is it, my 3rd or 4th term that I've had the honor to be here with distinguished colleagues and to realize that our focus has been always our concern for the elderly. And where I suppose I should apologize for the remarks I'm going to make, I really am going to apologize to myself for the aggravation that I have to repeat this information again. I did not know the smart meter came onto my property without my consent or my knowledge in April. But then I've had a wonderful time. The digital equipment on the stove misfunctioned. The digital telephone that came in July misfunctioned. It sends bogus phone calls to my burglar alarm, which misfunctions. The apparatus that I spent for a 4-zone thermostat misfunctions. I've had the joy of 67 degrees all winter, but then I can buy electric fans and so on to keep warm. The garage door only goes up and down 2 inches. I think the best part was the distortion of my vision, which has been diagnosed after many examinations. I apologize to Medicare for what it has cost. The brain scan, yes, I have a brain, they told me. The neurology, the veins, the heart, everything, nothing wrong. However, that smart meter is just outside of my bedroom. And this is a form of headache, often reported. Secondly, I use sleep apnea equipment, and there has been reports of that interfering with that type of equipment. So you can see I'm not a happy camper with this smart meter. But even more unhappy, my efforts to approach Nevada Energy and ask them to take it back. Just come and take it out. Met with indifference, secrecy, arrogance, non-communication. I wish to congratulate Ms. Stokely. I have seen finally a real representative of Nevada Energy. I'm so pleased to have you here. But this is my point. If the World Health Organization says that smart meter radiation is a class 2B carcinogenic, 100 times the exposure from a cell phone, should I worry about that? Yeah, I think so. Also, that it's been reported as far as New Zealand, explosions and structural fires. Should I worry about that? Well, I have a 1,000 book collection of cookbooks. Yes, I'm worried. Also, it seems like you've put an awful lot of effort into collecting data. Why? There are privacy issues involved here. They can hack into my alarm. They can tell when I'm home or not. But here we are in the United States of America, and now I understand you have a trial opt program. I really want to get into it immediately. Now, I guess if you raise the fees, hike up the cost, you're going to find people are going to fall out. But right now, I just want to say that I have lived in Vientiane, Laos, with the Pate Lao. I have lived in Arab countries, and I understand control. I resent very much coming into my private home, putting that meter on, and then refusing absolutely to listen to me when I ask that it be taken off. I would like not to have distortion of my vision, at least. I'll live with the phone going crazy.
Ms. Knister, I must interrupt. As I said
Well,
earlier,
that's the essence of what I'm trying to communicate. I didn't want it, I don't want it now, and I'm looking for a procedure to get rid of it. And I'm hoping to have cooperation.
again, I want to reiterate what I said earlier. The Public Utilities Commission has made a decision. And there is now a method to get it taken out. So maybe before they leave, they can tell you who you should contact, okay? Who's next now? I think of is Giorno and then Russ Schoenbeck, okay?
I wasn't sure I was on back there. From what I understand, I tried to read quite a bit about it because I had an instance where they came onto my property and were going to install a meter and I asked them not to. They came back again, this time with 4 big burly guys. I asked them not to. They finally brought the supervisor on, and I talked to her. So we said we were going to wait with this. I don't like them going onto my property without informing me, and all my rentals without informing me that I had an option. But I think where my concern is this. The meters themselves do not conserve energy. You collect data and then you try to inform the consumer to change their pattern of usage. So in essence, if there's peak hours between, let's say, 12 o'clock and 5, that I use my dishwasher, you're going to inform me that I should do it at midnight because there's less usage. Is that correct? Okay.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying you're going to inform me about my patterns is what you're doing. That the meter themselves do not conserve energy. Is that correct?
That is correct. The meters register whole home usage just as the traditional meters did. The difference is providing you information that's a day old through our secure web portal that promotes energy awareness.
I think most of us know that. It's common sense that if we're going to use...
But it doesn't, just
so we spend
the introduction of the
$300
meter.
some million for that. I don't know. And the other thing that bothers me is the fact that they are computers. And from what I'm understanding, you have this computer and it sends data to hundreds of homes within your area. You pick all this data up and then it goes to your cell, your tower cell. Isn't that the way it works?
No, that's a different configured system.
How does your system work? It does not pick up the data?
No, not through other homes.
Okay,
it has
because
a correct...
I understand it, that you have it's what they call proprietary. You can take this data and keep it. We do not have accessibility to this data. but your company doesn't.
Actually, the data that's accessible is through the web portal.
Yeah, but the other data.
Which data we have?
The data that, like when we're using and what we're using, the amount of wattage we're using, you can tell that by a certain amount of wattage it's being used. Whether it's a hair dryer, you can tell what time that hair dryer is being used. You can also tell if I'm home where I'm using the toaster at 3 o'clock in the morning. I think that's very private.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I'm objective of. And the other thing would be, if in the future, because of seniors, Social Security doesn't go up that much, that Nevada Energy would not tier their rates because you do have accessibility. Right now we have a flat rate. But in the future, what guarantee do we have that you will not tier that rate? When the peak usage is going to be between 12 o'clock and 5. And most seniors are home at that hour. The people that are out that are working, they're not home at that hour. They can shut it down, their air conditioning.
And thank you. But to answer I believe with Ms. Altman, we talked about the mandatory time of use rates question coming up earlier, specifically on December the 6th, and the answer was that was not the intent. As far as speculating in the future.
We're talking intent though, we're not talking what will be done. Intent is one thing.
Right.
But in the future, if you see that there's too much consumption, the demand is greater. What your intent is today does not give us the guarantee for tomorrow. Thank you.
Well,
I
think the PUC should be hearing these types of things.
Dr. He's here and I'm going to
Well, Mr. Schoenbeck.